Right after pardoning Joe Arpiao, Trump just did something huge for Sheriff David Clarke. Donald Trump may be president now and working hard to try to put our country back together with his time in office, but that does not mean he forgets the people who got him there. Just last week, the president issued a pardon to Joe Arpaio, a retired sheriff accused of violating a court order. Today, he gave a special gift to another cop buddy of his, Sheriff David Clarke. President Trump told everyone how good Sheriff Clarke's new book, Cop Under Fire, Moving Beyond Hashtags of Race, Crime, and Politics for a Better America. Donald Trump's tweet, a great book by a great guy, highly recommended. The president tweeted, a great book by a great guy, highly recommended. Lefties hate Sheriff Clarke mainly because he is a conservative black cop. He also has driven them crazy by going after Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and other leftist hate organizations. If you were not already aware, Clarke also was one of the first people to defend Trump's response to Charlottesville. He saw it for what it really was, a declaration that our country will not tolerate hate on either side. Sheriff Clarke's proud of Trump's Charlottesville response. Sheriff Clarke is a man who simply has dedicated his life to upholding law and order, and there is nothing wrong with supporting a hero like this. Help the good man out by sharing this out, and if you are a reader, buy his new book. It comes highly recommended by the President of the United States, after all. Let's take a quick listen to Sheriff Clarke. Great man.
Joining us with reaction, Salem Radio, nationally syndicated host Larry Elder, Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clarke, Fox News contributor DeRoy Murdoch. Sheriff Clarke, we'll start with you. Anything I'm saying here that's wrong?
No, it's spot on, Sean. You know, the liberal media couldn't control themselves. They couldn't resist the opportunity to somehow turn this on President Trump. I was proud of the original statement. He knows, the president, you have to be measured, you have to be calm. You want to calm the waters, you want to be thoughtful in your initial statement because it's early on and you don't have all the facts and you don't want to speak out of hand. Then over the weekend, as he learned more facts, he came out today and reiterated what he said and even some more forceful terms. I was proud of the way he handled that, but again, you know, they took this ugly situation. There's no winners in Charlottesville. It was hate versus hate. You had the neo-Nazis, you had Antifa, you had Black Lives Matter clashing. There's just no winners there, but every time one of these situations happens, you know, you see the worst of people sometimes. I think we saw it out on the left.
Larry Elder, we've known each other for going back a couple of decades now.
Right.
You have taken a lot of heat over a very long, successful career for pointing out a lot of the things I tried to mention in this monologue.
Right.
Why the double standard? Have you figured it out?
I haven't been able to figure it out, but I'll tell you, 1963, I'm 12 years old. Governor George Wallace, a Democrat, stands in front of a school door and defends segregation. Fast forward, Sean, 28 years later, David Duke runs as a Republican, gets zero support from the Congress for his candidacy. The RNC puts out a statement blasting his candidacy. George Herbert Walker Bush called him a racist. The only time we ever see David Duke again is when cable news digs him up. The man hasn't been relevant in decades. And the reason for all of this attention, the reason the media is covering this thing like it's a Super Bowl, is because of this narrative that Donald Trump blatantly reached out to white racists to get elected. If that's the case, how is it that he got less percentage of white voters than Mitt Romney did, a greater percentage of minority voters, blacks, Hispanics, and Asians than Mitt Romney did? The blacks, Hispanics, and Asians were too stupid to realize they were joining a movement with a bunch of white racists, and the white racists were too stupid to realize they were joining a movement with a bunch of people of color that they don't like. Come on.
You know, DeRoy, am I right as I watched this weekend? I just decided, I made a decision. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to absorb this. I took notes all weekend. I saw a media hit a new low, and it's like it happens. And they just wanted politically to bludgeon, politically I'm speaking, this president. and tie him to this in spite of what he said historically, which they've never played, and in spite of what he said earlier this weekend?
I think you're absolutely right. Here's a name you may not have heard very much throughout this controversy, James Alex Fields Jr. He is the neo-Nazi who allegedly, because he's innocent until proven guilty in court, allegedly drove that car, ran into those people, killed a woman named Heather Heyer, a young woman of age 32, and I believe hit another 19 people who were injured, some of them very seriously. He's the one responsible for this mayhem, and yet the whole weekend it sounded as if Donald Trump were the person driving that car, smacking into those people. I think he probably could have avoided a lot of this controversy if he'd come out harder earlier on this, but nonetheless, you've seen exactly as you say, Sean, that the media and a lot of enemies of President Trump trying to blame him for all of this rather than putting the blame where it belongs, which is on a neo-Nazi driving a car into a pile of protesters.
All right, stay right there. More with Sheriff Clarke, more Larry Elder.
Yes, but did you notice that the left, that our Sheriff Clarke said that he blamed the left mostly? Do you see? And it's still not clear that if that driver was actually on the right side, actually. It's still not clear. It's up in the air. If anybody knows, please let me know, because I heard some news that he was actually a leftist portrayed as somebody on the, like a white supremacist, so to speak. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.